I know a lot of people are in the mood for speculation right now, especially considering Pokemon X and Y are going to be coming out soon. So I thought I'd just make two predictions of my own that don't necessarily have anything to do with the short term, but rather the long term. I think number one, that Pokemon by Gen 7 is going to come out with a new Pokemon type, and then by Gen 10 we are going to either have dual typed moves or triple typed Pokemon. And I guess this is because I think that Pokemon can't stay successful if they keep things the same. They're going to have to change it up somehow, and I think that's definitely going to be the ways they're going to do it. Or they may choose other ways, but I think that's probably the most likely way of doing it. Regardless, hey guys, what's up? My name is MegaWolfman49, and I'm going to be bringing you guys a Pokemon Wi-Fi battle, as you can see on your screen, obviously. Now, this is actually my first battle uploaded onto Global Trainer Syndicate, so I really hope you guys do enjoy my content. But this is going to be a UU match that I had against a good friend of mine, Kameloxyx, and I'm not sure how many of you guys are familiar with him, but he's been uploading with this team a lot, and he's been, talking it up a lot, basically, saying that, it's a really good team. He calls it Team Kamehameha, and I wanted to crack at it, so I decided to throw together a bunch of stuff, and I challenged him. He accepted because we were in a situation where he couldn't say no, basically. But the thing is about my team, this team is relatively old, and by old I mean it existed before some moves and such things came out on certain Pokemon. Not going to name them, but I'm pretty sure some of you can guess. So that really is going to kind of hurt me later on in the battle. But without further ado, let's just get right into said battle. So, challenged, all that good stuff. So he's going to lead off with this Victini here, as I lead off with my own Victini. So I guess it's time to find out who's faster, and the first thing you're going to see, he outspeeds me here. Now this could either mean speed tie or that he's faster, and it actually turns out that he is, because I'm running Adamant Scarf as opposed to Jolly Scarf, and normally, the modern Victini that I have would be running Jolly Scarf, so that's the first thing that kind of went wrong for me. I would rather have Jolly than Adamant, and that is kind of going to play in later on. So I go into my Empoleon here named Cusco, because basically he can't really do much to me. So he decides to switch out into his Machamp here as I go for my Stealth Rocks. Now here I knew he'd be predicting a switch, so I decided to stay in with my Empoleon as he goes for the payback. He was obviously predicting the Chandelure, but that did not happen, and I am going to nail him with the Scald. Now here I wanted the burn while I was battling, but it turns out he told me later that he was Guts, so had I burned him, that would have sucked for me. So I knew he was Choice from previous experience, Choice Banded, so I stayed in, and I predicted the Amoonguss switch, and I nail him with an Ice Beam, and I'm going to get the freeze. So things are looking pretty good for me right now. Kinda hacksy, but I guess it's not going to really matter that much, as you're going to see right now. So I go for a second Ice Beam here, and because I'm just trying to take this thing out, because this thing can definitely be annoying. But he manages to thaw out, and he gets a Spore off, and basically my Empoleon is going to be taking a nap right now. So I guess the tables have turned, and I'm pretty sure because Amoonguss is Amoonguss, it can get his HP back relatively quickly. So I guess we're back to square one, kind of. So I decided to switch out into my Sceptile. Now he predicted that, and he goes for the Stun Spore, and he turns out to be the dual Powder type, and that kind of sucks for me because now my Sceptile is essentially useless. But I was like, you know what, maybe he's not going to be predicting a physical Sceptile as opposed to a special one. So I decided to go for the Acrobatics here, but he actually does. I don't know if he predicts that, but he switches out, and he's going to be going into his Golurk now. So that Acrobatics is obviously not going to be doing much. So he goes for the Dynamic Punch here. Now he's going to have the whole Parafusion thing going on. And my Sceptile, I basically leave it in here to die. And if I can get a hit off, I'm pretty lucky. And I actually do manage to get a Leaf Blade off, but I don't kill it because I do believe this thing is defensive. But I decided that, you know what, I'll just try getting another hit off as he goes for his Stealth Rocks. If I kill myself, then that's quite unfortunate, but I think that Sceptile really is useless at this point. And I do get paralyzed. I guess it could be worse. I guess I could have hit myself, but at this point, there's not really much I can do. He decides to go for the Protect, maybe trying to scout if I switch out or something. But I'm just going to stay in, hit myself, and he's going to be getting his leftovers. And at this point, I do believe he's going to go for the Earthquake because there's really no point in just staying in here and trying to stall out a parafused Pokemon. So my Sceptile is going to go down. Quite unfortunate. It didn't really get to do much work. And I do enjoy Sceptile, and my screen just appeared there. That kind of sucks. Anyway, I'm going to go into my Victini here. And I decide to go for the V-Create, predicting him to go into his Amoonguss because, well, I don't really know why I predicted that. I guess he thought maybe I would go for a U-turn or something of the sort, but that is obviously not going to work out. He is going to go into his Blastoise, and that V-Create is not going to be doing much to, obviously, Blastoise, because the thing is most likely defensive. So it doesn't really do much, and I decide at this point that I can't keep my Victini in here. And at this point, I didn't realize, it was pretty stupid of me, I guess. I didn't want to go into my Chandelure because obviously it's a water type and a fire type, not exactly the best combination. So I did decide to go into my Empoleon as he gets off a rapid spin. So my rocks are gone now. That actually is going to play pretty big later on, as you guys are going to see. So I have my rocks gone, and my Empoleon's asleep. So I decided at this point, you know what, I need to try waking up, and I need to try setting up my rocks again. So he switches out into his Zapdos here. So now here I'm just praying, please wake up, but I am not waking up. You know, the things are going on. I am not waking up, but I'm like, you know what, it's fine. He goes for the substitute. I was happy. I'm like, you know, he does have a sub up, but I need to get those rocks up. That's like another turn of sleep fodder for me, but I'm still not able to wake up. Now he goes for the Thunderbolt here. Now I know that I'm able to take this because I do believe I am specially defensive, and I am going to be taking it with barely with 68 HP, and I still don't wake up. So things are really, really looking bad for me. So at this point, I have no choice but to fodder off my Empoleon. There's no point in trying to keep him. I don't have anyone that wants to take a Life Orb Thunderbolt from this Zapdos anyway. So my Empoleon's going to have to die after basically making me sit there for 3 turns while he got set up his sub and everything. So I go into what appears to be my Mew, but what is actually my Zoroark, and at this point I just have to go into something faster to break his sub, so that's why I went into Zoroark. And I really didn't get to utilize Zoroark as much as I would have wanted to this battle. He was kind of wasted, but regardless, he did get the substitute down, so he kind of did his job. So he's going to be going down, unfortunately. So now I bring in my Victini again, because I'm pretty sure I can outspeed this thing and take it out, but my Victini's looking pretty low right now, so I probably can't even live one more switch, so I have to play it pretty safe right now. So nothing is safer than a V-Create from Victini, because that thing can just hit basically anything that doesn't have Flash Fire. And he's going to be bringing in his own Victini, and that is going to be doing a significant amount of damage, but not really enough to justify staying in, especially considering he can probably 2-hit KO me. So I decided to go into my Chandelure here, because I know I can basically take whatever he wants to go for, whether it be U-turn or if he decides to counter with his own V-Create. So he's going to be going for the U-turn. Now here, he decided to go into his Golurk here. He told me that he thought I was choiced in some way, whether Specs or Scarf. I'm not quite sure what his thought process was when he went into Golurk, but that is not going to be going good for him, because I am going to be able to easily take out this thing with a Shadow Ball. So things are finally looking to have turned kind of in my favor, because the entire game it seemed like he was dictating the flow of things, but now it looks like things are more on the ball's in my court basically. But that is not going to last for long, because he is going to T-Bolt my Chandelure, and as I mentioned before, I don't have anything that necessarily wants to take that T-Bolt, so I'm just going to have to let him die at this point. So I decided to go into my Mew, who's basically a monster, and this Mew basically does all the heavy work for me in this battle. So he goes for the substitute here as I go for a Swords Dance. Now here I have to, it's kind of risky because I know that he outspeeds me now, so I have to play it quite safely with these Sucker Punches, but I decided to go for the Zen Headbutt here. No reason to try going for the Sucker Punch, because regardless I'm basically going to break his sub and he's going to get hit off on me, so it doesn't really matter. So at this point I've just taken a massive amount of damage from the T-Bolt, but I'm still fine. I'm still at a manageable amount of HP, so I go for the Sucker Punch, and he predicts that and goes for the Roost. So, because, by the way, he is the one that told me about the set originally, so he would obviously know what I do, or kind of what I do. But here, I thought that he would predict me to go for a regular attacking move, and he would go for a T-Bolt. So I decided to go for the Sucker Punch, and that actually does pay off for me, because I'm able to take it out, and had I not done that and gone for the Zen Headbutt, he would have outsped me and obviously taken me out with a Thunderbolt. So now here he brings in his Blastoise. Now here I know I obviously cannot one-hit KO this thing because it is a Blastoise, so I decided to Drain Punch it, might as well get my HP back. What I didn't know was that he's actually carrying the Roar. Had I known that, I probably would have tried getting as much damage on it as possible, because, you know, I would just want to do as much damage as possible, obviously. So I bring my Victini. Here's actually another crucial part in the game. I go for the Fusion Bolt here. Now, the Fusion Bolt may not seem like it's that bad, but considering the Victini not recently, it actually got it a while back, but it got Bolt Strike basically. And had I carried Bolt Strike, I would have been doing a whole lot more damage to this Victini, not necessarily taking it out, but as you're going to see in a bit, it definitely would have mattered had I gone for the Bolt Strike. So regardless, he is going to be going into his Machamp here as I go into my Mew. So now here he goes for the Bullet Punch because he knows I'll outspeed him. He just wants to get some damage off, which I can understand, and I'm going to be able to take him out with a Zen Headbutt. Luckily, I do not miss. So he brings in his annoying Amoonguss, which I had a chance to get rid of early on. And I go for the Zen Headbutt here, and here's a pretty crucial play. If I don't crit him or get a flinch, then I've essentially lost. And I managed to get a flinch, which is awesome. I guess you can say it's kind of hacksy, but, you know, that's kind of what Zen Headbutt does, so you can't really get mad at it. So here is where you can see Stealth Rocks may have mattered. Had I had the Stealth Rocks, this would have been a dead Victini. And also, if you look at the damage, he barely lives. If I had gone for Bolt Strike, that definitely would have made up the difference, and he would have been dead. That Victini would have been dead right now. So there's two things that you notice now that actually did matter that you didn't think mattered in the first place. So he brings in his Amoonguss now as I go for the Sucker Punch. I can't afford to predict things and go for a Zen Headbutt, because that would basically kill me had he decided to call my bluff and go for a U-turn or whatnot. So now he's basically getting his HP back with the Regenerator ability, and I'm going to go for the Zen Headbutt here, and he's going to switch out into his Blastoise. Pretty good plan on his part. So now his Amoonguss is almost full HP. So now I need to hope for a crit or something of the sort again, or a flinch, and I'm going to go for it, and it is not going to be doing either of the two, and he's going to be able to Spore me. So now it's looking like it's GG for me, I guess. Things are looking pretty bad, but I still have a chance. He can't really do much that damage to me with Amoonguss, and he is probably going to switch out into his Victini, so I have 2 turns that I can potentially burn off of sleep. So the first turn, obviously, I'm not going to be waking up. I'm fine with that. Now here is the important play. I know he's going to go for a move. I go for the Sucker Punch, and I remain asleep. And that is basically going to be GG now because I can't wake up, and Mew is my last Pokemon. So it is going to go down. He's going to go for the V-Create, and that is basically going to be the game. So I hope you guys did enjoy. That was a pretty close 2-0. Definitely hacks played a part in the game, and the fact that my team was older really did play a part as well. Although, I guess if you want to think about it, had I gone for the Bolt Strike, there's a 5% chance of me missing, so that's always a thing. And then there's also the flinch that I got with my Mew. So I think it was pretty even hacks on both sides. At the end of the day, we can say that, you know, it was a pretty even match, hacks-wise, and the person who deserved to win, I guess, won. So, thanks for watching. I hope you guys did enjoy this narration. It was rather long. I don't usually do narrations that are this long, but this battle did happen to be that long, and I didn't want to speed it up too much because that would kind of kill the experience. So, as I mentioned, I hope you did enjoy. Remember to check out my channel and also my opponent's channel as well. I'll leave both of them in the description if you guys did enjoy. And, you know, we definitely both post. I know he posts awesome content. I hope that you guys think I post awesome content. But regardless, this has been another Pokemon Wi-Fi battle. And I mentioned this for a 3rd time, but I hope you guys enjoyed. And I will see you hopefully on my channel. Bye.